And then while I was down in South Carolina, I got to watch Quarterback on Netflix. I really loved this series, but I've heard from a few people that this like it just didn't land for them. And I could see why, because I also watched Untold, the Johnny Manziel documentary movie on Netflix, and that moves with tremendous pace, very quick, very high energy, no slow, dull spots. It's just got a like incredible pace and quickness to it. Whereas Quarterback, it's different too. Quarterback's what, 8 episodes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So if you're not familiar, it focuses on 3 quarterbacks during the 2022 NFL season. The first quarterback of which is Patrick Mahomes, league MVP, Super Bowl champion. Next one is Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings quarterback, much maligned. And then you have I don't want to say disgraced, Marcus Mariota, like high draft pick for the Titans, didn't pan out, lost his job at Tannehill, went to Vegas for a year or two, and is now, as of the beginning of the 2022 season, named the starter for the Falcons. And he looks good in that friggin' uniform, dude. I liked the number 1, like everything. I mean, I liked a lot of the Falcons uniforms, and to see Marcus Mariota in a Falcons uniform was cool. I was kind of hoping the Giants would sign him before we got Tyrod Taylor. I thought that would be a nice little backup just in case, because Jones had his injury issues, so it's like it would have been cool to have Marcus. Daniel Jones got hurt. Oh, we just turned to Marcus Mariota. Cool. But I ended up watching this down in South Carolina with most of the episodes with my sister, and I didn't think she'd be interested, but she did watch a couple other football documentaries on Netflix. So I was like, all right, like she doesn't watch games on Sunday. She doesn't know a lot of the players, but like this appealed to the dude, the former football player in me, but it also had, it showed the home life of a lot of the quarterbacks, their wives, their children, how they handle that, how that, interviews with the wives, the girlfriends, and how they're able to balance both professional life and home life. So I think she really appreciated that aspect of it. And I did as well, to be honest, because it's like, in each example, it's not, I think previous episode before, we're talking about trophy wives. And you think like, okay, a lot of rich NFL quarterbacks, like if there's a position that often has like the wag, quote unquote, or the trophy wife, the hot woman that is just like arm candy, it's the quarterback, right? That's just like the stereotypical old fashioned way to think. But like to see the dynamic in play, like, yes, there is a very it's not just this superficial for show type thing. There's like in the Mahomes case, Patrick and his wife have been dating since high school, and like Patrick thought he was in the friend zone for 2 years, and it's like so fucking nuts to think about, like high school sweethearts. And Kirk and his wife met in college, and they are religious. Holy crap, are they religious? Like, when the wife is talking about when things get rough or stressful, she just, I just put on my prayer music or like gospel music or something like that. And it's just like, okay. And like the songs that Kirk sings to. So he reads like a Sports Illustrated for Kids book to his son, which that son probably too old to have a nookie, a pacifier, probably too old. That kid looked like he was 6 or 7 and still sucking on that nip, that fake rubber nip. Interesting. But he reads the Sports Illustrated for Kids book, and I was like, I need to slip that into the rotation with Brie, just like on the off chance that maybe she kind of digs it and it like subconsciously like leaks into her brain. And then but then he tucks them in at night and sings like this it's like religious song, and I'm just like, how do you hate Kirk Cousins? I just don't like hate Kirk Cousins. You can't hate Kirk Cousins. You might not be very fond of a lot of what he's got going on, but like to hear his story and to see what he went through, like each one of these 3 quarterbacks went through hell in one way or another. I mean, Mahomes, not so much until he gets to the postseason where he severely sprains his ankle in that opening playoff game. I think it was the divisional game against the Jags. To see him work through that and work back and win the Super Bowl is like, I mean, it's freaking incredible, dude. I mean, why anyone would doubt Patrick Mahomes from now on out is like, you're a fool. Kirk Cousins, it was like he bruised his ribs in that game against the Commanders, which I didn't know or remember, where like he gets hit and the big dude, what was it? I want to say Payne, Darren Payne? No. One of the vicious, brutal monsters that's on that defensive line for the Commanders lands on him, ends up bruising his ribs. And literally every clip that they show of him in game playing is just him like, it's just like, oh boy. The things that he had to deal with during that season and still pull off all these come from behind wins. And, I had another Eagles fan comment on my video from fucking January after the Giants lost the Eagles in the divisional round. Like literally that video, it's just Eagles fans commenting on my video. Like not one goddamn Giants fan is commenting like anything or even defending me. It's just like, nope. Hey, Philly, have at it. This guy's a jackass. So, I know that they think that Minnesota were frauds, but like largest comeback victory in NFL regular season history or NFL history, regular season and postseason combined against the Colts. Huge win against the Patriots, huge win against the Bills in Buffalo. I mean, like fraudulent. I don't know about frauds. And knowing that Kirk had that rib thing going on. I mean, he had in addition to the probably world-renowned training room that he has, he also hires like a group of massage therapists, body sculptor type people to come in to his house every Friday night and just like rub him down. It's like, man, what do I have to earn for that to happen? Because I would love that to happen possibly once a day. Like, what's the going rate on that? Like, how much do I have to earn for that to happen? Because I would love that. Because just the idea of like, just you do whatever you need to do to my body. I'm just going to lay here. And just you do me. And then Mariota was just tough. Because it was like, you get off to kind of a rough start. They kind of battle back. They build some buzz. And then he has that throw, dude. It was like from the time that throw happened, as soon as it happened, it was like, oh, well, that's, I guess, what I completely forgot that throw happened. I don't know if it was against the Saints where he's kind of tumbling to the ground and he's about to hit the ground and he kind of he spins last minute and just literally throws the ball. Like doesn't know where he's throwing it, not looking where he's throwing it, and just fucking chucks it in the air. And I was like, oh yeah, that decision makes sense now. It's still kind of ambiguous what ended up happening. Like, the story was he just disappeared and went absent and like failed to show up to practice, failed to show up to the facility. And the coach was like, we have no idea where he is. And it was like, well, he was having a kid, but a lot of guys have kids in season. Like, I think even, who was it? Was it Kirk Cousins that also had no, it was Mahomes that was having a kid right around Christmas. Same time as Mariota, but he's at practice and he's playing, but he's also the starter. And it's like, from Mariota's standpoint, it kind of makes sense. It's like, well, you guys, obviously you've told me that you want to move on from me. I'm not the starter anymore. So I'm just going to step aside. I don't want to be a distraction. And in doing so, he became a bigger distraction because it's like, well, you're abandoning your team. I don't know. And then of course he signs with the friggin' Eagles. Awesome. So I can only imagine like Hurts going down like in a game against the Giants or the week before. And we're like, oh, we get to, Hurts isn't playing. We got a shot. And it's like, no. Los Gigantes El Stinko versus backup quarterbacks for whatever reason. Think like, oh, Vic went down and now we have to face Vince Young, who's a wash, has been. He's washed. And then he leads him to victory. Cool. We still won the Super Bowl that year. So yeah, quarterback, highly recommend. I really liked it, mostly because it got into I guess if you're not a former football player or like a hardcore football fan, you're just casual, you wouldn't be interested in it. But like they dive into a lot of the nitty gritty of being a quarterback, like play calling, remembering the plays. I mean, literally on one play in the red zone, Kirk Cousins says, like the whole string of the play and then gets to the why, which is the most important part of the play, and says why whatever. And yet the tight end knew exactly what he was talking about. Like, why whatever is not a play. He just said why whatever because he forgot what the route is called. And the tight end still ran it and they scored a touchdown. So no, as a former quarterback, I fucking loved it. How could you not?